The Loupe View is often thought of as simply being a view of only one image at a time, as compared to the Grid View that enables you to view multiple images at once. As a result, you might assume that the Loupe View in the Library module doesn't offer any special features beyond offering a larger preview display of an image. It is true that the Loupe View only allows you to view one image at a time, but it still offers a fair amount of flexibility in terms of the information displayed about an image and the ways you can interact with that image. At the moment, I'm actually working in the Slideshow module, putting together a small presentation of some of my favorite images from Prague. The Loupe View is only available in the Library module, so you might think that I need to switch to the Library module first before I can use the Loupe View. In fact, I can simply press the letter E as a shortcut to get to the Loupe View. To remember this keyboard shortcut, just keep in mind that the word Loupe has an E at the end of it. When I press E, I'll be taken to the Library module automatically, and my image will be displayed in the Loupe View. If I was already in the Library module, of course, I can use the keyboard shortcuts G to go to the Grid View and E to go back to the Loupe View. I can also use the buttons at the left end of the toolbar below the preview image. The button on the left takes us to the Grid View, and the button to the right of it takes us to the Loupe View. I'll go ahead and press Shift-Tab to hide all of the panels so that I can focus on the Loupe View of this particular image. Note that even with the panels hidden, the toolbar is by default still visible below the Loupe View of my image. That means I can use the options on this toolbar to apply changes to the image. For example, I can apply a pick or reject flag, I can set star ratings, I can rotate the image, and I can even display additional options by choosing them from the pop-up at the right of the toolbar. For example, I like to apply color labels to sort and organize my images, and so I can turn that option on so that with one click I can apply color labels to the image. I could also turn on the Navigate option so that I can navigate to the next or previous image, giving me a certain amount of flexibility for navigating among the images without actually having to bring the film strip up. There are also some additional options for changing the display capabilities for the Loupe View. These are found by choosing View, View Options from the menu. This will bring up the Library View Options dialog set to the Loupe View tab by default. The primary controls on the Loupe View tab relate to the information overlay you can display on top of the image. If you turn on the checkbox for Show Info Overlay, you'll see the actual overlay presented with the image. You can choose which of the info options you'd like to display, either Info 1 or Info 2. The specific information about the image that would be displayed with either Info 1 or Info 2 are selectable here. In the Loupe Info 1 section, I can choose the primary information I want to display. That would be the information that appears larger than the other values that can also be displayed as part of this information. I can also choose the additional information that will be displayed below the primary information. Simply choose the information you'd like to display from these pop-ups. If you've changed any of the options here and would like to get back to the Lightroom defaults, you can simply click the Use Defaults button. You'll notice there's a checkbox that allows you to show this information briefly when the photo changes. If you've actually enabled the Info Overlay, this checkbox will be disabled because the Info Overlay will always be displayed. If you turn off the Info Overlay, then you can turn on this checkbox so that the information you've designated will only appear briefly, just for a couple of seconds, whenever you switch to a new photo in the Loupe View. In this case, I'll leave the Show Briefly option turned off and instead keep that overlay on at all times. The Loupe Info 2 section contains the exact same controls found in Loupe Info 1. These are offered simply so that you'll have two options for the information that's being displayed for a given photo. Finally, in the General section, there's a checkbox for Show Message when loading or rendering photos. With this option turned on, and it is by default, whenever Lightroom is loading an image or rendering the preview of that image, a message will indicate that that's the case. This is helpful so that you know that what you're looking at is not the final image. For example, while the image is being rendered, it might not include all of your adjustments, or it might not look as sharp as it actually is. I prefer to have this message appear, but you can turn it off simply by clearing the checkbox. I'll go ahead and leave it turned on in this case, and now that I'm finished with my Loupe View settings, I'll close the Library View Options dialog. Of course, you don't actually have to access a menu item in order to display the information on the image. You can toggle through No Information, Info 1 or Info 2 simply by pressing the letter I on the keyboard. This serves as a toggle that will cycle you through the various options. As you can see, the first option gives me some basic information about the capture, the second gives me information about the actual exposure settings, and the third option is for no information at all. I think of the Loupe View as being primarily a way to evaluate images as well as to get a closer look when applying keywords or other metadata to specific images. Understanding the various options available to you for the Loupe View will enable you to take full advantage of everything this view mode has to offer.